Are we doing a turnaround, or are you guys all staying for the next panel? Nobody's moving. Amazing. Right. So the next panel, Brand Building in a Digital World. And this panel is being moderated by Frederic, founder of Felix Capital. Felix Capital operates at the intersection of technology and creativity. And I know that Frederic has worked with some very cool brands and startups over his very long career in the industry. He's worked with Farfetch, Zong, which was sold to eBay for $240 million, Virtu, social media marketing, acquired by Oracle for $310 million. Frederic's been a VC since 2001, so he knows his stuff. And in 2012, he won the Investor of the Year at the GP Bullhound All-Stars event, which is like the Oscars of venture capital in EMEA. So it's a huge honor, Frederic up against his peers. And as per usual, I have to tell good stories about each of the moderators. So my favorite memory of Fred was it 2012 we were there? Yeah, 2012, both of our first Burning Man. We actually ended up at the same camp. That camp produces TEDx for Burning Man. And what I remember is, he's the founder of Felix Capital, fashion style. He's got very good Burning Man style. That's all I can say. Okay, so over to you, Fred, and introduce your panel.
Thanks, Bindi. Okay, I won't comment on that point.
Muy bien.
Yeah, go.
Okay, nice to meet everybody. Welcome to this panel. So I'm very pleased. I guess we can now sit here. Pleased to welcome two amazing entrepreneurs here, and I feel particularly privileged with what we do at Felix, because we basically, when we summarize what we do, we basically say we invest in brands, and Oakers is a fantastic example of what we do at the intersection of technology and creativity, and enabling technologies for brands. And enabling technologies, that's Olapic is a great example where I was lucky to back Luis and his two co-founders and the team, and we've been through a great journey. We should all feel very privileged today as well to have two founders of companies doing very, very well, who've both been through very significant transactions over the summer, great exit for Olapic, so we'll talk about this, and a very large fundraising for Oakers as well. So that's also something great to talk about. So Luis is a co-founder of Olapic, started as CTO and CEO of the company, and still has this position today as part of Monotype, which has bought the company. And David is the creative founder of Oakers. How many people in the room own Oakers glasses?
There's someone wearing sunglasses.
Okay.
But it's not Oakers.
Okay. Well, I do. So maybe I thought I would do the panel with my Oakers glasses, and as I showed to David earlier,
smart guy.
I even bought them for my children this summer and to my parents as well. I didn't tell them the price first, and then I said, okay, I'll tell you the price, and they couldn't believe me. So it's great to be here today. Actually, it's quite convenient with the lights here, so I might keep them for a little while. So I will just ask both of you to start, because we only have half an hour, so we'll go very, very quickly, to tell us about the genesis of the company. You both started with co-founders. Luis, what got you to start Olapic, and what does Olapic do?
Yeah, so at Olapic, we help brands and retailers to leverage all the content that all their customers are creating on social networks, mostly pictures and videos, to help improve their marketing materials. What pretty much triggered starting the company was this. If you remember, once the iPhone got built, in a couple of years, everyone suddenly had a camera in their pocket with internet access, and suddenly the amount of pictures that were out there, multiplied by a very large number. And that changed the way that we communicate with each other. If you think about all the main social networks, it's all about pictures. Facebook is mostly about pictures. Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, they are all about pictures, or Snapchat. And that's the way we talk to each other. So we thought that we should be able to help brands to talk to their audiences in the same way that we talk to each other. So that's how we got started.
Okay, and when was that?
We started in 2010, and we initially worked mostly with media companies, but we focus on brands starting in 2012.
Okay. Yeah. So, David, what can you tell us about how you started your company?
It was back in 2013, and we were a bunch of guys. We were 4 guys, my little brother, 2 friends, and me. And actually, we were developing a different project. It was about selling through social media, something similar to what Wallapop is today, and something very similar to what Facebook just announced. But the fact is that we didn't get traffic enough or money enough to keep it running. So we decided that we should do something to get money to keep with that project. And then first what we did is, because we didn't like how the e-commerce was working, we thought it was too complicated to purchase anything, and it was also ugly. We didn't like it. And so we started to build e-commerce for third parties, and with that money we kept buying our food, and we kept living for a while. And we found out that the e-commerces that we were building were really successful, and there came a point when we thought that we should do it for ourselves.
Yeah. So you were helping other brands sell online by just
yes, that was what we did before. And then we built our own. First, we started doing drop shipping, so it was not our own brand. We bought it when we got
an order.
Sorry. To be honest, I didn't know what we were going to talk about today, and I didn't even know it was in English, and my English is rusty.
Mi español no es muy bueno.
Venga, pues en español.
Lo hacemos en inglés.
So, yeah.
What I find is that talking about my business, I can do that for hours. So
yeah,
I'm sure it's the same for you.
Yeah,
so.
I don't even speak English. I know how to say this in English, but that's all I know in English.
That's fine. He's talking about this. That's what you've got to remember. So what numbers can you share with us about the business?
All of them.
Okay.
Which one do you want?
Okay. What's the profitability this year?
It's a good one.
Okay. Turnover?
Turnover.
It's a big one.
You know, we got investment recently.
Yes.
So
congratulations.
No, to be honest again, I'm not the figure guy. I can talk more about sales and so on, but I can tell you.
I think what would be interesting is to get an idea of the scale of the business, because you started.
We started with €300, and we bought 27 sunglasses, and with a Chinese coupon bought in the deep internet, we started reinvesting what we got from that. And the first day it was €1 in Facebook ads. And the next day, after a hard meeting, we doubled. And we say, okay, all in, €2. and then we...
How much did you spend on Facebook yesterday?
Yesterday? Summer is, there's more investment, but now I'd say in total from 10 to 20,000 euros.
And you are shipping sunglasses now across how many countries?
65 countries. We're selling 65 countries.
And Spain is still the biggest market.
Spain represents 34% of the total, but yeah, it's number one.
Okay. So, Luis, a few numbers about the business. Obviously, we know all one number, which is the $130 million worth of the exit this summer. So that's That's a nice number.
Yeah, well, more numbers. We are 210 people based in 4 different countries. We have people in the US, we have people in Argentina, we have people in London and in Germany. Then what else? Like, we cannot share many revenue numbers, but by the time of the acquisition, it was over 20 million per year. And yeah, and we sell to around 500 brands in the world, mostly the top brands that you can think of, kind of Adidas, Four Seasons, Hyatt, companies like that, Calvin Klein. So, yeah.
So I think one thing which is really interesting, and there is a great parallel between the both companies, is that it was started by a group of friends. We shared a similar passion and interest, and started very, very small. But you've been through very different journeys. So you started in the US.
Yeah.
So why build a business from New York as opposed to here?
Well, in our case, the 3 founders, we are from Spain, but we met in New York. So it was the natural place to build a business. Kind of the US is still the largest and easiest market to get in, particularly if you are selling to other companies. It's like there is nothing like that. So that was the main reason. Kind of maybe for things where you're selling to consumers, you can start almost everywhere. But if you're thinking about selling to big brands, you run out of big brands very quickly in Spain, for example. While in the US, kind of you have more, there are always more. So that was kind of the natural place for us to get started.
And David, you've been able to build a business from Alicante, and have you been able to find all the talent you needed there, or did you need to open up?
Yeah, that's a hard task. It is. We were talking about that earlier, and it is hard to find the people we need here. There's lots of talent here in Spain, but for some profiles, we are starting to hire from the big companies, and so yeah, it's not easy to find, especially in Alicante.
So when for the future of the business, do you see the need to open up an office elsewhere?
We have offices in our headquarters in Alicante, but we have in Barcelona, in Madrid, in Hong Kong, and Los Angeles.
Okay. So what are your plans for the US?
Partying in Vegas. And if we survive to that, then we want to take over the whole market. And we want.
You haven't got a big tattoo on your face yet, so you've got some way to go.
Yeah, I've seen that picture, that movie. Our plans are for us, we always say that if you can start playing the easy mode, then why go into the professional mode? And in that case, the USA is the professional mode for us. So we've been playing the minor leagues, let's say, but it's been good so far. And we've done some things with the USA, but now we're opening, hopefully this is fresh news, we're opening a store before the end of this year. I don't know yet if it'll be here or the States, we don't know, but yeah, we're going to have...
You're thinking about retail?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a very significant transaction in the direct-to-consumer brand space this summer with Unilever buying Dollar Shave Club. And I think one of the very striking things that company has done is focusing on just one market, the US, and just selling on their own site, not doing any retail or wholesale through. So I'm sure you've received a lot of interest because typically the glasses business is a wholesale business, essentially. Mm-hmm. How are you looking at retail online, retail offline, your own retail, and all the wholesale and distribution opportunities you might have?
Mm-hmm. We would like to innovate, and it's not about the figures now. We don't want our internet is doing very well, and we want to keep it like that. But we would like to do something different. And that's because, as I told you before, when we're having fun, we're giving our best. So we're going to try to disrupt also the offline channel.
Okay, sounds exciting. So we are, the topic of this panel is around brand building. And one of the things I wanted to, Luis, to talk about is how concretely you help brands in their brand building and their ability to engage with customers. Maybe if you can pick an example of one of your clients. How does Olapic work?
Yeah, so what we do is, I'm going to pick Calvin Klein, for example, is a very well-known brand, and they have a very successful campaign that is called, at least in the US, that is called My Calvins. That is mostly, they take models and they take pictures wearing, Calvin Klein products, and then kind of like the core of the campaign, and it's just that. And that's the way you get people to see Calvin Klein out there. And what we do is we help the brand to find pictures of other people taking the same pictures on the internet, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and then we curate all that content, and there is a lot of content, so we have to do machine learning and things like that to be able to identify the right content. And we show that to Calvin Klein, they pick the ones they want, we help them secure the rights for that content, and then they can use all that content in their campaigns. And what that gives Calvin Klein is the ability to use regular people and not only models to sell their products, and that creates a sense of authenticity that is very difficult to get the other way. And usually, obviously, we can do a lot of tests to test how efficient using those pictures is compared to using just models, and usually we are able to increase sales because it's proving to people that kind of real people can actually wear those clothes and look as good as anyone else. Because people just don't trust kind of like the fabricated model that much. So that's the way we work with.
Yeah. And today, Europe is a large part of the business,
yes,
right? Because you're working with some of the biggest CPG companies here in Europe. And
yeah, so we opened the London office 2.5 years ago, and kind of our headquarters is in London, but we work with many Unilever brands, L'Oreal, many fashion brands in Europe, and kind of everything that you do in Europe when it comes to digital marketing is usually maybe a couple of years behind when it comes to brand adoption, but it's picking up really quickly too.
Did you mention Oakers as a client?
No, I'm working on that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we should have as a goal for this panel just for that contract to happen. We can just put David on the spot just here. The company is flush with money, so exactly. That should be fine. Yeah. So, David, I think it's interesting to talk about how you've been building the business and the brand, because it seems to me that you've started more as a trader, buying and selling and trying to make a profit and reinvesting that profit. Mm-hmm. And the aspiration to build a brand seems to have grown over time. And now that's a very clear aspiration. So can you take us through that journey from, I'm an e-commerce, we are an e-commerce business, we are here to make a margin, to we have a lifestyle proposition?
I didn't understand the question.
Sorry. How are you building the brand?
Yes,
because it's you started by buying and selling.
Yeah.
And today you're still buying and selling, but it's very much an Oakers proposition. You are collaborating with different type of people.
I got it now.
When I hang out on the beach in Spain, see all these cool people wearing glasses, which actually are really convenient because that's a lot of light here.
Yeah. I love that light.
You can put your Oakers on if you want.
Mine's are prescription.
Okay.
Sunglasses. The funny thing is I never used sunglasses in my life.
Okay. So never mention this on the panel. That's okay.
We often say that what we are trying to say is that we don't take ourselves very seriously, as you can see, and that also happens with our brands. But that can be seen as a cold approach or something that is not very productive. But we think that by doing that, by trying everything, almost everything, every angle from which we can approach. We get really creative, and we have a competitive advantage
Yeah.
with that. And I couldn't say just one or two or three or four or five things. We try everything. Sometimes we say we are a gun. So sometimes we hit the target. But millions of times we don't.
And how important has Instagram been for
The
the
Instagram,
business? Yeah.
you know, it took almost 1.5 years until we uploaded the first picture to Instagram. And it's my brother who is in charge of that. So when he feels like posting, he does. But sometimes there's months in which there's no
Okay, so that's not the
posting.
core
So
channel.
yeah, it's as chaotic as it looks. Yeah, it is. Yesterday he posted himself doing a tattoo to a professional skater, Ninja, and that was our professional post of yesterday.
Are there questions in the audience? I take off my glasses, because we can make this interactive. Any question for David or Luis? Or yes? I know if there are microphones
Microphone over there, guys. Over there. Do you want to raise your hand again?
or maybe stand up and if you can introduce yourself.
Hello.
Gracias. Gracias y mucha suerte con los proyectos. Thank you. My question would be, how can brands build credibility online? If you're starting as a digital brand, obviously you have to upload your photos, you have to gain some kind of credibility with your audience, and how can you do that?
In our case, because we wanted to do it, thank you. Yeah, now. We wanted to do what they call blitz scaling, so growing really, really fast. We didn't have time to build that credibility, so we took it from brands like Mercedes-Benz, like Los Angeles Lakers, and celebrities, and so many different collaborations that have built this credibility. And after that, because sometimes we talk a lot and we don't talk about the sunglasses at all. So sometimes what we do, I forgot what I was going to say. It'll come back to me. We were talking about credibility.
But
Next one, please.
Yeah, no, actually,
in our case,
Que no comío.
in
Que
our
tengo
case,
hambre.
well,
Sorry.
I think there is jamón out there.
Oh, thank you.
took it
Jamón
something.
will make it.
So in our case, we help brands do that using social proof. Kind of the idea is you may trust what Los Angeles Lakers is saying, but if you see your cousin wearing the sunglasses, probably that will help.
Yeah, now I remember what I was going to say.
Then back to you.
The rest of the credibility was we were so sure about the product that we wanted to take it out fast. And so that made the rest. So the people would take them and say, hey, they're cheap, but they're good. And so they would say to their fellow partner or to their friends or anyone. And that helped.
And going back to your Instagram example, maybe you don't post that often, but I think you have like more than 7 million photos on Instagram already tagged with hawkers, which means
That's
that
in Facebook.
On
In Instagram,
Instagram.
we have, I
Something
think,
like
500,000, something like that.
a lot, yeah. So that's a good way to build credibility which means that you have to have a good product, so people
And
will share.
the blue tick, how do you say that?
Certified or something
Yeah,
like
the certified that. If you have that, you can be nothing, but if you have the blue...
So it's all about the blue tick. There was someone at the, okay. So I think at the very back.
Hello, I have a question specifically to David, and continuing with the credibility online.
Yeah.
I think most people know that you had a strategy with influencers. And I wanted to ask about how did you start this strategy? How was your relationship with these influencers? And even if possible, how much did you invest at the beginning and how much do you invest currently?
Okay. First of all, the first ones, we met them clubbing. They were kind of drunk, and so it was easier. And it was zero. We didn't pay anyone. They just liked us and say, hey, I'm going to wear your sunglasses. But now, what I say is, after all the news, now we have the Real Madrid problem, which is I have this price for all the teams, and then I have this price for when Real Madrid comes to. So, yeah, but we still have good friends who are celebrities, and we try to make them come with us. So it's more a family, but we also pay some of them. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a big celebrity. Sometimes it's only someone who has huge engagement.
Yeah, big engagement.
We have a girl working in our office, who is a mom, and she has 2 very beautiful children. And she has like 70,000 followers, but she has more engagement and she sells more than Luis Suarez or any big one.
Because in the case of Olapic as well, you enable brands to connect with people who often are creating beautiful content that maybe have got very, very small followings. But
some of the things that we see pretty often is that celebrities help a lot to get reach and kind of to connect with people. But usually the best performing content usually comes from people that are like you and me, and kind of like that mom at home is actually the one that is going to create the post that is going to help you sell the most. And that happens almost with every brand we work with.
I think I'm going to start following David on Instagram. It should be a fun feed.
How much does a digital brand influence your decision in making an investment in a company? How important is that?
So the way we look at things, it's what we are very interested in is authenticity. So it can be. I mean, we backed a brand that was started by a celebrity and big influencer. It's Gwyneth Paltrow, for instance. But we are backing her as the creative founder of the business, and what she's passionate about what she's doing, and the brand feels very authentic. It's been built over time. And we like things that start from passion and then turn into businesses. So what we are less keen on is when you are just buying influence, and where it feels, which is at the end, whether you're paying someone or Facebook or Google, you're still buying customer love. And it's quite easy in e-commerce to grow by just spending money. So I think the brands like Goop, which is a company we backed, or Oakers, who start with no money at all, but find their audience and grow in a very authentic, organic way, are hugely interesting and hugely defensible. So that's why when we saw the news of the funding of Oakers, we said, I knew we should have called these guys. Anyway, so that's the authenticity. I think is the point where it's either it feels authentic or it doesn't, and we are very much on the authentic side. We are running out of time. We are done. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, David, Luis. Congrats again.
Thank you.